been a film-waste presentation, darling.
This is BTV, your home for memorable.
We have had a cool down over the past couple of days, but we are warming back up into the low 80s tomorrow, and it will be a warm Halloween with a high of 83. Coming up, we'll have a look at all the temperatures and our next chance of rain.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 10, calling attention to properties that are part of our past, the effort to save them. Also ahead, the mother of a murder victim speaks out about an arrest in the case. Your News at 10 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF, News Channel 6 at 10 on MeTV.
Hello everybody, I'm Brad Means. Thanks for joining us as coverage you can count on begins with an arrest made in the murder of a 19-year-old in Rennes, Georgia. Tonight, the victim's mother talks to us. Here's Hannah Latier.
In the past year, many people in Rennes have advocated for putting an end to gun violence and finding the person who killed Kaya. Now, this arrest is providing a sense of justice and closure in this tragic case.
That's the call I've been waiting for.
Sharika Pitts, Kaya's mother, tells us she was losing hope her killer would be found.
I cried to God, I prayed to God to not let me have those feelings and those thoughts of not giving up, because she deserves justice. And we all deserve justice and closure and peace and answers.
The feeling when she finally got her answer can only be described as...
It felt like a ton of bricks just lifted off me. It felt good to hear that they arrested him for killing her. It felt good. It really did.
The community rallied around Sharika during her darkest time and even put up reward money for information in the case.
Because this is a hard pill to swallow, of losing your only child or a child. So, no one should have to bury their own children. But it was amazing. It felt good to have the community behind me, in front of me, beside me. It felt good.
Although Sharika still wants to know why her home was targeted, she feels safer knowing Brown is off the streets. She wants to use Kaya's story as a platform to help end gun violence.
I really hope that this case brings light to gun violence, and that people would think twice about pulling out a gun, because a bullet has nobody's name. That bullet could have struck me. It could have struck anybody. And we just want them to put down the guns and just think before you take an innocent person's life.
Now, this investigation is ongoing and more arrests are expected. If you have any information about this case, contact the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office or the GBI, and we'll have those phone numbers at WJBF.com. In Rennes, Hannah Latier, WJBF News Channel 6.
New tonight, an Evans High School coach has been charged with having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Montel Waters facing charges from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. In a news release, the Columbia County School District says safety and students and safety of staff is a top priority, and that Waters will no longer be working with the school in any capacity. Local candidates making their final push for voters. Lucas Grant in South Carolina. It is time now for our first check of our weather. Chief Meteorologist Jenna Petracci joins us now. Jenna?
Well, Brad, it was a nice cool day once again today. We only topped off in the mid-70s, and as for our temperatures at the moment, we are sitting in the low 60s. We have clear skies in Augusta, but we do still have some clouds around. Our dew points are in the mid-50s, and as for our satellite and radar, a couple sprinkles happening now in Barnwell County, and you can see those passing clouds as well. Tomorrow morning, when you're headed out the door, our temperatures will be on the chilly side, staying in the upper 50s, so a light jacket will do. We'll also have the possibility of some patchy fog in the morning, so prepare for that. A bit of a spooky start to your day, and it will stay that way over the next few mornings. Perfect for Halloween. Notice we'll be up into the low 60s by the 9 o'clock hour, and look at this high temperature tomorrow, 82 degrees in Augusta. So we are back to those above average temperatures as we head into the holiday. Here's a look at that forecast leading up towards Halloween. We're going to see a high of 83 on Thursday, partly cloudy skies, and then for your Friday, the same thing. So we're going to continue to see those low 80s for quite some time. It does look like it could be a warm start to the month of November with little to no rain in the forecast. I'll have a look at your full 10-day forecast coming up. But back to you, Brad.
All right, great job, Jenna. Thank you. Some Augusta Utilities customers are wondering about their latest bills. Have you seen them? They're higher than one would think. Augusta Utilities Director Wes Vine says, yes, this is from water usage from before the storm, not related to the time when nobody had any water, and the department's going to adjust those bills.
We're taking storm protocols. However, we just need to know about it, and so give us a call. We'll work with you on making sure that everything is okay as we transition back into normal operations around the city.
So, yeah, look for that storm credit on a future bill. Historic Augusta announcing its 2025 Endangered Properties list today. Graham Lee tells us about the new properties on the list and updates us on previous endangered properties.
While debris cleanup continues around the city, Historic Augusta is doing its part to highlight the properties that need attention.
We have an organization that has a long heritage of working for the community, trying to advocate for our historic resources, trying to make sure that people are aware of what's around them.
What's around them are 6 new properties the organization has added to this year's list. Some include neglected homes on East Avenue, this home on 2nd Street, and the old 5th Ward School. C.T. Walker is also on the list, following the school board's decision to soon close it as part of the consolidation plan. Historic Augusta calling this unsympathetic public policy.
We don't really understand the rationale behind that decision. The Board of Education is very difficult to address their policy and decision making when it comes to historically significant structures, and so they have a lot of authority, and there's very little the public or that we can do to try to save this building, but we are trying to bring public attention to it.
The agency is also bringing attention to some of the properties that are still on the list from last year. The 2 houses on Wrightsboro Road and the greenhouse remain, along with the Weed School property. The city bought it last December with the goal to reimagine the Sandhills community, but things have been quiet since public meetings were held earlier this year.
Those conversations, and for the school as well as the Sandhills neighborhood that it's in, have kind of subsided. So we still see some demolition in Sandhills, but not like it was a couple of years ago. So that's maybe encouraging.
You would be amazed at the amount of money that has come into downtown Augusta, but we need more public support. We need more membership. We need more attention from the media. We need more help with the city government.
After 3 years serving as the organization president, Bush will step down in 60 days, with Malden taking his spot on January 1st. In Augusta, Graham Lee, WJBF, News Channel 6.
If you want to work at next year's Masters tournament, here's your chance. There's a job expo on Thursday, November 14th at the Hub for Community Innovation. That's near the intersection of Walton Way and 15th Street down on Chafee. They're hiring for concessions, hospitality, culinary, merchandise, and security. You can apply online. We have all the information for you at WJBF.com. Still ahead, all eyes on Election Day. How Georgia voters are breaking records after the forecast from Jenna.
Well, we did have a few sprinkles around today, but Augusta Bushfield remained dry, so we are now at 32 days in a row with no rain. It does look like we're on track to have the longest dry stretch ever in the Augusta area. I'll have a look at your full forecast coming up.
At Lionel's with Living. Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Welcome back. Still seeing some of those sprinkles over in Barnwell County now on Live Viper 6. Let's take a closer look there. This is right around Williston and Elko. You're getting around trace amounts of rainfall today. That's about it. Vanburgh County started out the day with some sprinkles, and then as we went through time today, even as far north as Saluda County got a little bit of rain, Aiken as well. So if you were out and about today, you may have run into a few raindrops, but overall it was mostly dry. Here's a look now at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam into Emmanuel County. High pressure is overhead for the most part. We do have those coastal showers that we're now seeing primarily down in southern Georgia and the Florida Peninsula. Earlier today we had more activity there, but high pressure is starting to move further towards the east, and that means we will have nice dry conditions as we go into the rest of the week. I know a lot of us appreciate that. Ever since Helene, we have not really had much rain at all, and that's definitely a nice situation situation, of course. However, we will like to have some rain to help prevent a drought in the future. But as of now, enjoy these nice dry conditions. Temperatures are in the low to mid 60s. Tomorrow morning will fall down into the upper 50s with that patchy fog early. A mix of sun and clouds throughout the afternoon, warming up to around 80 to 82 degrees. Then for your Halloween, all the way up to 83. And notice the low temperature of 57. So even late at night, it really won't be too chilly. When the kids are out and about trick-or-treating in the evening, will be anywhere from the upper 60s through mid 70s. So pretty mild or even warm, you could say. So some kids that are dressed in furry or thick costumes may actually be a little hot for a change on Halloween. So there's really no need to bundle up. Notice on average, our high is usually around 75 on Halloween. That will not be the case. We'll be well above that. We won't be quite at that warmest record high we've had, though. That was back in 2016 with 89 degrees. We were right around that on Saturday, but notice that our temperatures aren't quite getting that high. We're going to see 83 at the warmest, and once again, that will be on Halloween and the day after. A brief drop into the upper 70s on Sunday and Monday, but then the temperatures rebound right back into the low 80s for the first week in November. No chance of rain over the next 7 days, so it is looking more and more certain that this could be the longest dry stretch ever in history of Augusta. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., there's some of that patchy fog along with a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Really not much going on for your Wednesday, and then Halloween is pretty much a rinse and repeat forecast. Then you can see there is a cold front, though, coming in from the west. That looks pretty strong, but then you can see as soon as it hits Alabama and Georgia, look at that. It really loses all of its intensity, and we will not be seeing any rain from it. We also won't be seeing any rain from the tropics, at least for now. Pretty typical as we go into the month of November. It's usually quiet in the tropics. There is chance of development down in the Caribbean Sea and over in the Atlantic to the east of the Bahamas. We'll be watching those two systems as we could have Patty and Raphael. But remember, even if we have a named storm, doesn't mean that we will see impacts. We'll keep a close eye on it, though, and keep you updated. Lows tonight will be in the mid to upper 50s. Highs tomorrow will be in the low 80s. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. It's going to be very warm, so if you like the warmer temperatures, this is definitely a nice next 10 days for you, especially with those lows. You know, a lot of times around this time of the year, we have a lot of lows in the 30s, but that is certainly not the case. We are going to see low to mid 50s over the next several days.
Yeah, downright mild.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it. More than 3 million Georgians have already cast ballots during early voting, and nearly a quarter of them are under 40. Both parties targeting voters younger than 43, as well as new voters. Political experts say key issues for those groups include student loans, affordable housing, and jobs. Nearly 3 out of 4 voters under 40 believing that the U.S. should legalize marijuana.
My friend, his name's Jeffrey Campbell, so he told me we should vote today. And I'm like, on a Tuesday? And he was like, yeah, it's better than, on election day. So we went out and did it. Student loan because I have a big student loan debt. And taxes is because, not going to lie, I like making money and I like spending less on taxes.
Early voting wraps up this Thursday in Georgia, Friday in South Carolina, then Election Day is Tuesday. Well, candidates and voters entering the home stretch certainly as we watch the race for president. Coming up, basketball season is just around the corner. The Augusta University men's team gearing up to play Clemson in an exhibition. We'll hear from the head coach of the Jags.
How do you become tomorrow on Good Morning Augusta? Now, WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
November is almost here, which means a basketball season. The Augusta Jaguars men's team will square off against the Clemson Tigers for an exhibition game. They face a challenging schedule early on with 2 Division I opponents. Augusta U starts with the Tigers, a team who made an Elite 8 run last year. However, the Jaguars return not only experience but overall size and length. Head coach Dip Mitras acknowledges the opportunity ahead and how it'll shape their season moving forward.
Really well coached, physicality. Our thought process, I think, and I don't know, I think it's the best one we've played in an exhibition game, okay? But some other teams we were able to play, their program was at the same point. So, huge challenge, and look forward to a great challenge and playing against a great program.
Tip-off is set for Wednesday, 7 p.m. in Clemson, South Carolina. And speaking of Clemson, the 6-1 Tigers are back in Death Valley, gearing up for an ACC matchup against the Louisville Cardinals. The Tigers are off to a 5-0 start in conference play for the 8th time under head coach Dabo Sweeney, and Clemson outscoring their opponents by an average of 23.6 points per game, and Cade Klubnik in the Tiger offense averaging 42 points per game, the 4th best in the FBS this season. And Klubnik could become the first Clemson quarterback since 2019 to throw multiple touchdown passes in 6 consecutive games. And speaking of streaks, the Tigers 8-0 all-time against the Louisville Cardinals, and they'll look to make it 9-0.
You got to continue to do the things that have gotten us to this point, and that's, number one, taking care of the ball, winning the big play margin, and we've been a very good third down team. We've been good on third down offense, good third down defense, and that's been a huge factor for us. None more of those than the turnover margin and what we've been able to do.
Yeah, but those are 2 mistakes for him.
Kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. at Memorial Stadium on ESPN. And in Columbia, it's homecoming week for the South Carolina Gamecocks. The Gamecocks improved to 2-3 in conference play after a dominating win against Oklahoma. And meanwhile, the Texas A&M Aggies, the only undefeated team left in SEC play, coming off a 17-7 win against the LSU Tigers.
Doing the things that you have to do to win football games. Credit to the coaching staff and the players for the way they're performing. We have a big challenge, but optimistic about the opportunity that we have. We should be at our best on Saturday as well, in the sense that we're 7 games in. We're coming off a bye week. We're healthier than we've been.
Kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. right here on News Channel 6. And finally, it's time to vote for the Football Friday Night Player of the Week. This week's nominees come from Thomas Jefferson Academy, Lincoln County, Edmund Burke Academy, Aquinas, and Saluda. And be sure to vote once per day, and we'll announce the winner on Football Friday night. That'll do it for sports. We'll be back.
Back by popular demand.
Get your tickets now at AugustaSymphony.com.
And last but not least, can you believe it? The holiday season about a month away. The White House is getting ready.
The White House Christmas tree is coming again from a Christmas tree farm in the mountains of West North Carolina.
Morgan Francis has more.
Fraser First, a Cadillac of Christmas trees, and that's why it's been selected so many times for the White House.
The White House Christmas tree will once again come from North Carolina. Kartner's Christmas Tree Farm was selected as the winners of the National Christmas Tree Association's National Tree Contest, which has provided the official White House Christmas tree since 1966.
Consumers of real Christmas trees need to have a good experience with that tree.
North Carolina Christmas tree growers typically see $250 million in sales annually. Tracy Taylor is the superintendent at Upper Mountain Research Station. He says many, if not most, tree growers escaped Helene relatively unscathed, but there's concern damage to roads and bridges could discourage customers from buying the real deal, potentially impacting what's been a long economic driver in the mountain communities.
And you know what I've been telling folks, if they want to help, one of the ways to help is to buy a real North Carolina premium fresh fur this year.
The Tar Heel State has approximately 1,300 growers producing Fraser fir on an estimated 40,000 acres. The type of tree represents 96% of all trees grown in North Carolina and is primarily grown in the western portion of our state. Taylor's team is working to lengthen the life of the Christmas tree after it's harvested.
So the trees grow faster, which is good for growers. They have a better shape, better needle retention, which is good for consumers. So our objective is to just make a better tree for growers and for consumers of real Christmas trees.
Beautiful trees from a beautiful state,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, the Christmas trees. I didn't know Christmas trees were grown in North Carolina, so that was really cool to see.
All over the place.
All over.
Yeah, I guess they really
Yeah.
are grown all over the place. But I've never had a real tree. But that definitely makes me
Oh
want
my
one.
goodness, you should.
Yep.
One. Yes, Jenna.
Well, it's not feeling like Christmas time
no, it's
anytime
not.
soon, though, with these warm temperatures. We're talking low 80s over the next several days, then upper 70s over the weekend. It's going to be a warm start to the month of November, low 80s into next week as well. And the low temperatures really aren't changing too much. We'll be anywhere from around 52 to 58 degrees overnight. That is pretty warm for this time of the year. Partly cloudy and dry.
All right, Jenna, thanks. Gianna, thank you. And thank Thank you all for watching. We're back at the top of the hour for News Channel 6 at 11.
And Hogan's Heroes next on UTV.